Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your stream here for RSF1's Division 2 Belgian Grand Prix. I am your host, Days Freak, the American voice of RSF1, alongside my co-commentator, SF Michaels. It's fantastic having you alongside with me yet again for today's race, or tonight for you guys.
Yes, a very entertaining race, or races, we should say, ahead of us. This, for the first time in the league's history, we are under sprint format. So, for those that haven't seen this before, we've got two races. A shorter one of 8 laps, followed by the normal, regular 50%, 22 laps round Spa. And hope, fingers crossed days, I don't know whether you saw F1 last night, but they had a bit of issues. And they were still streaming at 20 past 10 UK time. So about 2 hours, 20 minutes from now, they were still streaming. So...
No, trust me, I know the time zones, but yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, let's hope. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen tonight. In the 18-car lobby, this should be very entertaining. We've had 2 brilliant races so far. So hopefully we should have a good event this time.
So I'm certainly hoping for the same thing. Just waiting for cars to leave the garage now.
Taking a time. Oh, there we go. Fruit boy in the house is going to be the first one out.
Oh, and he's on the pit wall. Hopefully he did not receive any damage for that.
It's a weird pit exit, isn't it? Because sort of you regain control as you sort of turn out there. So
yeah, it's a very tight exit on the pit.
Followed by both Red Bulls.
Other drivers. I was gonna say, yeah, it looks like both the Red Bulls out of Arash, Alonso, and Crazy Fish. Was last night's race rainy by any chance? I didn't get to watch it last night.
I think it was dry the whole way through both races, which was a relief, I think, for a lot of them, because this track in the wet can be very, very dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous anyway. I mean, Eau Rouge Radio can catch up the other area. I think it's a little bit easier. I'm saying it kinder than last year's game because it's not as sharp. If that makes sense. I don't know whether you've driven around this track yet on this game here, Days, but it doesn't feel as aggressive as before.
It certainly doesn't. I've done about 50 laps or so of practice so far this weekend. The corner feels a bit smoother, but the car also feels a lot more. It's planted compared to last year's car. Last year's car, the rear end was all over the place. You had to set your car up the way you liked it. With this year's game, you can play around with the rear wing, the rear ride height, and everything a lot more, and it won't matter. We have Fruit Boy diving back into the pits, so we are going to ride along with the Red Bull of Crazy Fish instead, heading into the bus stop chicane to start his hot lap.
Fruit Boy must have got damage from when he exited the pit lane.
Yeah, he might not have been a lot, but it was certainly enough to affect him. Coming through La Source now for Crazy Fish.
This is a weird feeling for me, Days, because the last time I commentated on this track, I was taking part in the 24 hours of Spa for an event on Forza 7, which I basically stared at this track for about 12 hours of those 24. So it's a very weird feeling, especially with Formula 1 cars, because we did it with GT cars as well, so...
Okay.
I'm very familiar with this track now.
Crazy Fish now heading through Rivage. Into No Name down to 4th gear, right back up to 5th. Runs a little wide, does not invalidate, he keeps it going. Heading downhill into Puan now. Down to 6th gear, right back up to 7th, and he's full throttle. Pretty much 90% of the corner.
Seems to be a safe-ish sort of that to begin with. Of course, let's remember, Days, because of the sprint format, this is a short qualifying. This ain't full qualifying eliminated. This is 18 minutes? Yeah, 18 minutes. And set as many laps as you dare, basically. And I think, really, people should set around about 3 or 4 laps. 1, maybe 2 laps per set of tyres that they have. So yeah, this is going to be different. They sort of build into short qualifying. It's a different kind of perspective how you're going to sort of attack it.
Certainly is. As Crazy Fish to the line, it's a 144.3 provisional pole. We move to his teammate Alonso out of the bus stop to the line. It's a 45.0. He's 7/10 off his teammate. Next man is Matty in the Alfa Romeo. He has invalidated his lap. He is going to put up another one here. After him is Steffi in the Ferrari across the line. It's a 44.3. He's only 0.03 of a second off of provisional pole. Eagle less than a 10th off of pole as well. He's P3 in the Alpine. Off to Grunty, the man who's won the first 2 races of the season so far. To the line, and it's a 44.3. The top 4 less than a 10. Stitching across the line puts up a 45.1. Probably not the lap he was looking for.
I tell you, before this event started tonight, a lot of people were very wary of Jenga's 44.3.
Oh! Jengus takes it by less than 1/100th of a second. Your top 5 less than a 10th apart. Wow, this is looking to be very, very competitive already. And we've still got 12 minutes in this session, let alone the sprint and the actual race themselves. Cornet Star definitely not putting up a competitive lap. I assume that's just a warm-up for him.
Great stuff so far. As I was saying, a lot of people are very wary of Steffi Werfi-Gaber because I say a million times over that TT is not the be-all and end-all, but apparently his TT time is a whole second quicker than anybody else in this division. So a lot of people are very wary of him, and he's already 3rd at the moment, but it is incredibly close right now.
We got Maddie and Christian both diving into the pits. Mini Boy invalidated his... No, actually, he was on an out lap, so this is going to be his hot lap here now. I'm not really sure where to go to see who... Okay, we got Eagle in the pits. Crazy Fish in the pits.
Breezy's just coming around.
Breezy?
P1, yeah, it's about halfway round, I think.
All right,
a few
let's
cars
see what
ahead of
sector
him.
2 time he puts up.
No, Fruit Boy's be next. He's coming up to the bus stop.
Fruit Boy.
Yeah, dived back into the pits, came back out again, up into the bus stop chicane, which has changed so much over the years. Kind of like it now. It's less fiddly, and he's going to be in the 45s though, so it goes 8th.
45.6 is almost 1.3 off of pole right now. Probably not the lap he was looking for.
Here comes Breezy. This is a 44. Free! Haha, another one!
Oh! Ho ho ho!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people at a 44.3 now.
An Eagle not far off. He's 0.111 seconds off. Your top 6 only about 11/100ths of a second apart.
Yeah,
As of right now, Breezy on pole with a 44.308.
I think F1 poles into 43, so this is kind of where the benchmark I expected them to be. Here comes Benny Boy, one of the new drivers. 44.9.
And it's a 44.9, not a bad lap. P7 for the Alfa Romeo. Almost 6 full tenths of a second off of pole. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that lap. Steffi!
44.2.
There's that pace you were mentioning earlier.
Only a 2 though, he's only a 10th quicker than everybody else. Not a second, which is what people were fearing, but
No,
we're in the 2s
thankfully
now.
not.
Wow. Just seen the
Top
Aston.
6.
Sorry, I've just seen the Aston of Poea. One of the new drivers here. Got quite a few here tonight. Poea being one of them. Club Claire being another in the AlphaTauri, but Poea got right up on the curbs. He's actually attacking the curbs a lot in this lap. He got right up on the curb of the blue one.
So he's pretty much putting half his car on these curbs.
That curve at Poo one is normally you touch it to send you flying. So how he's mounted it and nothing happened is beyond me.
Blanchimont rides the curbs on entry and exit, having a handful of cars in his way on their in laps, I believe. Perhaps their out laps, because I'm seeing a lot of guys on their out laps.
This is a very good lap. 44-0.
44-0. He takes pole by almost 2/10. Wow. Aston Martin looking to have a very good night tonight. 8 minutes left in the session. What can the field say about this?
That's going
Got Quirky Turtle coming through Blanchimont, now heading towards the bus stop chicane.
That's going to set up a lot of people. Everyone was like, oh, this is close. Oh, someone's gone 2/10 quicker. Quirky, look good, look good. 43.
Quirky gets pole by almost 2/10.
43s.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, it was close.
Right.
And now people are flexing their muscles.
Certainly are. Eagle looking to put up a much better lap now. He's just over half a second off pole right now. Runty crossing the line. The other Alpine of Tornado has yet to put up a lap. Fruit Boy, Cornet Star, Genghis Logan, Macy Q, all on outlaps. Everybody else, with the exception of Breezy, Steffi, and Benny, on hot laps.
Already 6 minutes 40 to go. This qualifying session goes really, really quickly.
Oh, we got a yellow. Who's it for? It's for the... Oh, it's for the McLaren of Christian. He's got to stay off the track. There's a lot of people behind him that are putting up hot laps right now. Macy Q, the next man behind him, he's getting way off the track. Make sure he stays out of everyone's way. Maddie's invalidated his current lap. He's going to have to go again. Doesn't have a lot of ERS, though, left.
Almost weird seeing Grunty, our championship leader at the moment, and in 7th at the moment. Normally he's, top 4, top 5, easily solid, but this is how close it is. He's only a 10th off of the front row.
And if he gains 1/10, he goes from P7 to P4. Not much of a gap between everybody. Eagle just crossed the line, put up P2, a 44-0. But he's still over a 10.5 down on Quirky. Eagle now just pulls way off to the side, getting out of the way of Haas.
Tornado! Oh, there's good.
And Grunty! Grunty, there's the lap we were looking for. It's a 43.7. Over a 10th up on Quirky.
Very nice. Reason I yelled Tornado wasn't a very good lap, but he got a heap load of wheel spin out on the bus stop, and that lost him a load of time, because he's only 4/10 off a pole. He lost a good 2 or 3/10 just from that wheel spin at the final corner. Otherwise, he would have been up there.
Unfortunate. Cornet Star will be the next man across the line. I don't think he's going to be putting up a pole time here, obviously, but I had to imagine he wants to improve on this lap. He does by 9.6 seconds, but he's still 7.3 off. This is his all or nothing lap here. And we got a Red Bull coming out of the pits. It is Arash Alonso. Through Radion, now down the Kemmel Straight for the McLaren of Cornet Star. A 30.2 in the first sector. And Leclerc has left the session.
Kind of.
Out of Lacombe. Ravage. We've got a wild Genghis Logan appearing up on the top 3. It's a 43.9
Nice.
for the Williams. We ride back with Cornet Star, who's now flying through Pouhon, about 80% on the throttle here. Quirky on an outlap now. Less than left in the session.
Yeah, not long to go.
Start with a 16.3. Oh, nearly loses the rear end out of Stavelot. Heading towards Blanchimont.
You can very easily lose the car through Stavelot, as you saw, and there's a tyre barrier just looming on the left-hand side, especially when you want to get on the throttle as early as possible. I think Cornet Star a little bit struggling tonight because I think it's going to be in the 45s. Yeah, 14.
He is, but he does put up a much better lap time there. Unfortunately, probably not going to have enough time to put up another lap, so that'll probably be it from the McLaren of Cornet Star.
3 minutes left.
Steffi, next man across the line, opens up the DRS into the line. It's a 43.6. It's pole by
Nice.
over a tenth. Next man across the line will be Genghis Logan. It looks like he's on his in-lap, though. He's got the red light flashing for his fuel, so he definitely doesn't have enough to do another lap here.
Benny Boy's next, coming up to the bus stop. He's about 7/10 up on his lap, which will put him right in the mix if he can get a good exit at the bus stop. Towards the line. This is going to be quite good, actually. Higher than 7 goes 6.
And it does.
Very
He's
nice.
6. RSF1 Shane has joined the session. Good
Oh, he's
news. We're going to
lucky.
have a full lobby tonight, boys.
He's lucky
We're
he's
gonna have a
joined.
full lobby.
He's very lucky he's joined at this
He's
point.
going to be
There's 2
starting from
minutes
the
left.
back, though. Oh, we got a yellow. It's for Cornet Star in Sector 3. He's going to have to wait for these guys to get through. And Shane does load in to his car. And that'll be the session, without a doubt, over and done with for Cornet Star. He's got guys behind him, though. He's going to have to be careful. Group Boy is one of those boys behind him.
Razorfish coming up through the bus stop now. He's about 4/10 up on his lap. So this will be a bit of improvement. Gets a bit wide on the exit and goes up to 5th. Not bad from Razorfish.
Improves by 0.3. Who do we got next here? We got a lot of cars coming on to the track.
The last chance for those that have yet to sell a lap. So it's all or nothing, 1 lap for Flub Claire, Mesa Q, Matty, and
Got
Kristen.
30 seconds left in the session, too. So not a lot of time. And Grunty right now is on an outlap, but I don't think he's going to have enough time. Probably have to cut the whole bus stop chicane, and
Which you
even then
can't
I don't
do.
think he'd get there.
Which you
No,
can't
certainly
do.
not,
It would,
but-
it would validate your next lap as well if you did.
Yeah.
He's only
Not
just
gonna
going to
have
miss
enough
out.
time. There's 5 seconds. It's unfortunate. Grunty's going to miss out on pole, but just that much. He's now in AI mode. Christian, meanwhile, is at the end of his lap. What can he put up here? Ooh, loses a little bit on the bus stop, but it's all good. He crosses the line. It's a 45.0. It's P12.
Better.
Maddie out of the bus stop chicane now, and he's getting a lot of lag, or maybe that's just me, but across the line, it's a 43.8. It's P3 for the Alfa Romeo.
1 lap, and he goes 3rd. Very nice.
Yep. Next man is Slithering Me. He is coming through the bus stop chicane, but he's invalidated his lap. So next we go not to Crazy Fish, Arash Alonso across the line, and he does improve, but not on his position. It's still P13 for the Red Bull. Fruit Boy now hasn't put up much of a lap time. Out of the bus stop chicane, though. Here he comes. Opens the DRS and to the line. It's a 45-0. It's P15.
Staging the
Leclerc
second.
did not put up a valid lap. Macy Q across the line. It's P17 with a 45-1.
Staging went to...
And Stidgen, yeah.
Staging on the front row.
So Stidgen takes away P2 from the AlphaTauri of Grunty. Crazy Fish and Tornado are the last two.
Quirky Turtle behind him. Quirky Turtle behind him. Which might... Oh, Tornado!
And Tornado takes it!
Where's Tornado come from? 43.5.
Wow. Tornado takes pole away from what everyone thought was going to be the obvious pole choice here tonight. And gets P1 with a 43.573. Just under 600ths of a second faster than Steffi. And here's something I want to point out. P1 to P11 is about 51 hundredths of a second. Absolutely mental.
At a long track that Spa is one of the longest on the calendar, so many mistakes you can make. Half a second between the top 11 is fantastic. Person who made
honestly amazing to see that.
Person who made the tiers will be very smiling right now. Muddy Biscuit, so... Oh, well.
I can imagine he's going to feel pretty proud of himself tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically for Division 2. I mean, how close these guys are is nuts.
Mm-hmm. Tornado on the pole, Steffi second with Stidgen and Grunty. Matty 5th with Quirky 6th, Jenga 7th, Crazy Fish 8th, Eagle 9th, Benny Boy in 10th, Poea 11th, Breezy 12th, and Slytherin, Arish Alonso, Christian, Fruit Boy, Mizuku, Cornet Star, Flub Claire, and Shane will be at the back of the grid.
And Muddy Biscuit said in the Div 2 Driver's Lounge that he wouldn't have even been top 10 tonight.
Shows the pace that these guys are pushing each other.
She's at work.
Alright.
Where's it? Where's it?
Your brother's right there.
Where's it?
I don't know. You had it.
A whipple.
Alright.
Right, so to go down your... So ready to go down your race, your sprint race starting order. Oh, we only have 20 seconds left to do this. All right, so we're going to do this quick. Tornado, Steffi, Stidgen, Grunty, Maddie, Quirky, Jengus, Logan, Crazy Fish, Eagle, Benny Boy, Poyea, Breezy, Slither and Me, Arash Alonso, Christian, Fruit Boy, Macy Q, Cornet Star, Flub Claire, and RSF1 Shane. Everyone, it seems, will be starting on the medium tires.
Mm-hmm. So last nothing. It's an 8-lap. It's an 8-lap race, so you have to go mediums.
Yeah, 8-lap race. You can't even do a flapper here on softs. It's after lap 3. Your tires are just dead. Absolutely dead as a doornail.
All right, lights out. Away we go.
Oh boy, we got a lot of position changing already. As we've got and Grunty spun around and then he got knocked back forward. Okay, I can't imagine he's going to feel too upset about that. He retains P4, so I can imagine he's going to feel good. Further back, we've got a lot more position changing. Looked like Eagle was trying to go side by side in Eau Rouge. Radion, we got a big crash between Slither and Me and Poyea. Slither and Me is out already. And it's a virtual safety car. Maddie looks like he got involved too. I don't know about Arash Alonso, but I know Maddie, Poyea, and Slither and Me all got involved in that. And just a tough start to this weekend for Slither and Me.
Yeah, which means he'll be starting the longer race on the back of the grid.
Oh no. Slither and Me already didn't have much of a great starting position in P13, and now he's out. Poyea dropping 8 spots, 13 dropped spots for Maddie. And it looks like Alonso might have damage, or maybe he was having like a glitch. Because I saw him go off the track completely, and then he have to come back on real slow. On the other end of that spectrum, though, Flub Claire goes from P19 to P13. And Christian from P15 all the way up to P8. But he does have a penalty, so keep an eye on that. He's a 5-second penalty, too.
Corner Castingen gained 1 place. He got that for. Did Christian.
Oh, boy.
Back on the way, green
Not
once
the
again.
time you want to do it. Yep. And we got Crazy Fish, who's losing tons of spots as he spun out of Stavelot. A little bit further than Stavelot, but yeah. Oh,
Do we go in the acceleration,
terrible
I think?
situation. Perhaps.
Yeah, Christian's made a good start, but that penalty's going to hurt him in the short race.
Certainly will. Doesn't look like anyone really got caught out by the virtual safety car. Maddie is in the pits.
Steffi's got a good run on Tornado for the lead.
That he does.
Oh,
Oh, ho, ho.
Tornado defending on the inside. Eagles out the
And
race.
Eagles crashed out.
Steffi goes running outside.
And Flub Claire has got a missing front wing. Oh, and Crazy Fish avoids Flub Claire by millimeters. I only caught the very tail end of that, but oh, that was close. Cornette Star is now around. We have got a lot of contact, a lot of people not giving each other an inch. It's an unfortunate start for a lot of guys here.
The thing
Imagine
about
there's going to be a lot of things for the stewards to look at this week.
this is the thing about the sprint race as well. We've got a Ferrari run as well. It's Shane, who's made a good start, but unfortunately spinning through pit 1. And he's dropping back. That's a real shame for him.
The kids seem to like seeing Shane spin a little too much. That is not how we commentate.
Steffi is all over the back of Tornado. Tornado is trying to keep back.
Oh yeah, Steffi is not letting him breathe for a second. As Stygian, no, Grunty is making the move around the outside. Steffi is not giving Tornado a millisecond to breathe. Same with Grunty for Stygian. And Jengus for Quirky, for that matter.
All leaders are quite close. Tornado went very wide through Rouge Ranion, and this time Steffi's got DRS.
Quirky's got a 3-second time penalty. This could hurt him.
Here comes Steffi around the outside of the Camel Straight. He's got it. He's got the lead.
And Grunty's got P3. It's side by side in Lacombe. Oh, he's still going on the inside of Grunty. Oh, he almost loses the rear end.
Good gutsy move from Grunty. Stygian tried to hold him off, but to no avail, and they've been dropped by the front two by a little bit. But Tornado does have now a time penalty.
Oh, Tornado does have a time penalty. I just saw that. Oh, this could be huge for the guys behind us. We've got Christian who's crashed and Breezy's into him.
No.
Where is Breezy? I don't see his car. He's off. It's another virtual safety car.
This is the thing about the sprint race days. You've been in one, I've been in one as well in a league format. Done a few career mode ones as well. It's all about the correct mindset. You need to be very wary about the fact that you get points in this race, but you don't get a lot of points. The big points are in the big race. You do not want to make a rash maneuver just because of it's a shorter race to hamper your longer race position, because Breezy has the pace tonight, but he's going to be starting in 18th place in the big race later on.
That he will be, and
probably very unfortunate.
Spa is not the easiest track to make overtakes on.
No. I've driven in the sprint.
I think right now you just want to be like the Williams drivers, Jengus and Stygian. Neither of these two have really been pushing for moves. They've just been making moves. Stygian, although, has dropped a spot from Grunty. But you don't want to force your way into a position in the sprint race. If you only get a point, 2, 3 points, then that's good enough. Certainly don't, especially if you're in a team, especially if you're on a team that hasn't scored a lot this season. DRS re-enabled.
Ooh,
We are bassing as
Tornado.
Tornado gets the perfect jump on Steffi, and he's making the move on the inside of Revive and
wow.
around the outside of No Name, and he gets the move done. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Wow, but he's gonna have to pull a 3-second gap in order for that to matter.
I'm recording that. That was one of the best overtakes I've ever seen.
That was that's probably move of the year in Division 2. I don't know how he did that.
Clean as well. No contact, just swoop.
No, not an ounce of contact.
Alright.
Easily the cleanest move I've seen so far in any of the divisions.
That's what he used to do. I just noticed Fruit Boy's gone up 8 places, up to 8 for the moment. Oh, there's Christian! No! Stabilo's no front wing.
Oh, he's gonna have to wait too. Yep, he lets the other 3 through and now he can go, but he's without the front wing. He's not in a good spot. Boyea makes the move on Macy Q. He looks to make it back, tries the switch back. He's got the DRS on Boyea here. Might not be able to. Oh, no, he does. Boyea lets him around the outside. He realizes the DRS down the Camel Straight is going to be a lot more powerful here.
Speaking
Does
of
he? 'Cause he looked like he was
DRS,
dropping for a second.
Steffi's going back for the lead. And the Camel.
Around the
Tornado.
outside of Lake Home. Can he make it stick? Can he make it stick? Oh, they touched. Not much, but a little bit. But he gets the move done. Steffi and Tornado are putting up an absolute masterclass of overtaking right now.
Yeah.
See,
Hard but
Leclerc
fair.
takes fastest lap.
He's on the soft tyres.
Yeah. And we got a yellow. It's once
Cornet's
again
again.
Cornet Star. McLaren just not having the night they needed tonight.
Spinning.
What happened?
Go on.
Oh no!
Cars,
Oh, and he's on the track.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
Oh.
I was so scared. We were gonna have like an 8-car pileup at
Oh!
least. Oh, wait! What happened? Oh, Quirky and Fruit Boy have crashed out, and it's a full course safety car.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no! We've now seen 3 drivers easily in the fight for a podium in this race and in the full race crash out so far.
Did they? I thought they avoided. They did avoid Tornado, but maybe in doing so, because they were going so fast, they just touched the grass. And both of them.
Well,
are
it didn't help that they were also right on top of each other. You got to remember that.
Yeah. That is so unfortunate for the pair of them.
It's not like they had a whole lot of space between them to begin with, and when you throw in the factor of a backwards car, it's definitely a lot of things could happen, and unfortunately, things happened. This safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap, I have to assume, because in this game, you get 2 laps at the end of the race.
Yeah, 1 lap safety car, probably. Rough.
So those guys at the back are going to want to push hard to catch up. They cannot afford to, you know, sit around and wait.
Cool. Won't be any DRS now, yeah, agreed, Unity. And Money in the chat said it's going to hurt for those with pens. Yeah. Tornado.
Certainly will. Boyea, Tornado, Leclerc, and Christian. Christian, who before he spun was looking like he could score some points in this race.
Now remember, for those that are not familiar with the sprint race format, it's points down to 8th, and it's shortened points. I think it's like half of what you would normally get, so it's like 8 points for the win. It's not half, but it's
8
a
for
lot less.
win, 7 for P2, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1
Yeah.
is the order for points for your top 8 in the sprint race.
And where you finish in the sprint race is where you start, or the longer race, which is just after this, which is 50% race, will be 22 laps. Because this is just under 25%, it's not exactly 25. So, And what we have already, Days, is we have a fast Quirky, we have a fast Fruitboy, and a fast Breezy, and a fast Eagle, and a fast Slytherin at the back of the grid. Going to make it very tasty to see where they're going to finish as safety cars in this lap.
Oh yeah, don't expect that back 5 at the start of this the 50%er to sit around and wait for things to happen. They're going to make things happen at the start of this race. And as I brought up earlier, the Williams drivers, now P3 and P4, they're in for some decent points for this sprint race.
Yeah, they've had a good start to the campaign. Both drivers finishing in the points in the first 2 races, and as long as they finish where they are now, they will continue that record. So, very strong.
Christian crashed!
Oh,
Christian crashed! What happened? Oh, he crashed right before Blanchimont. What? Maybe he was heating up the tires. I've got to assume that's what it was, because I don't see any penalty for Flip Claire. And the other McLaren spun. What is going on? As Steffi at the front goes off, but does not catch Grunty out at all. In fact, Grunty may have known he was going before he knew he was going. On the outside, Steffi loses the rear end. He doesn't crash, but he did lose the rear end, and that's Grunty into the lead. Oh, and Steffi Stitchin gets P2. Wow, this is looking spicy.
They still have cold tires. Steffi still had very, very cold tires. Really fluffed up that restart. He was trying
too hard to slow everyone down and didn't realize he was slowing himself down more than anything.
Speaking of records, Grunty is now in a position where he could win 3 out of 3, but Stygian right behind is desperate to not let that happen. He'll be very close the entire of this race, so...
No, Stygian's definitely not going to let him have this. He is going to fight for this win here. He does not want to see Grunty go 3 for 3 to start this season.
Yeah.
Truthfully, no one does here, but Stygian more than anybody.
For a championship as a neutral, he wants Stygian to get the points. Understeer though. Tornado and Poea.
Getting around. Macy Q. Poea! Okay, he doesn't spin out. He may have just lost it and had to smash the brakes to keep himself from crashing. But he drops to P10. He's going to be out of the points, especially after penalties now. Back to your front runners. Grunty looks like he might have enough of a gap. He might be able to just bring this home as long as he doesn't mess up. Maddie now with a 3-second time penalty. That's going to hurt.
Remember, there's going to be no DRS. This one, the last lap of the sprint race.
Yeah, it's final lap.
It's going to be very difficult for Stygian, I reckon.
Certainly going to be just watching him pull away. Well, not so much pull away, but he's not really catching Grunty, which is definitely never a good feeling. Going to ride on board with the Williams, see if he can catch him at all throughout this lap.
5% more DRS than Grunty has. Grunty's down to about 25.
Crazy Fish and Macy Q swapping positions.
Yeah, that'll be for 6th place because a Tornado's penalty will drop him back.
Yeah, but Macy Q's definitely had a phenomenal start to this. Started P17. He's now up to P8 and P7 again, like you said, after the penalty.
Yeah, which would be good for the longer race. That's what he wanted. Flip Claire
another 3-second. He'll probably drop him down to P13.
Stygian's going to have one last chance into the bus stop, but that's only if Grunty makes a mistake, and he's very, very slow. Through the corner before Stavilo. This is the chance.
Yeah, I think he took a weird line into Stavilo, and that's why he's dropped now. Stygian in a very good position. They're both burning.
Come on. He's slowly catching. It's going to be one last chance. Is he going to go for it?
No, I don't think he is.
Cengiz
might be going for the switchback here.
Cengiz though behind.
Oh, Cengiz
nabs the podium.
Oh, so Cengiz will take P3 away from Stygian, or from Steffi. A double podium again for Williams. And Grunty wins the sprint race P2 Stygian, P3 Jengus, P4 Steffi, who lost it on the final chicane. Benny Boy P5, P6 I did not see because they went through the whole order pretty quickly. P6 Crazy Fish. RSF1 Shane gets driver of the day from the game.
Well,
Let's see how he did.
Shane went from 20th to start the main race in 9th, so he'll be very, very happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, he definitely had... I'd say he had the best sprint race outside of course, Grunty, who won. But after Crazy Fish, Tornado P7, P8 for Macy Q, who went up from P17 to P8. P9 Shane, P10 Poyea. Arash Alonso, P11, P12 Maddie. 13th goes to Flub Claire. 14th Cornet Star. 15th for the other McLaren of Christian, Quirky Turtle. Fruit Boy, Breezy, Eagle, and Slytherin Me is the rest of your order for the sprint race.
I'm almost out of breath already. We've still got the main event to go. That was intense.
That was definitely intense. I can't believe that there was that much action that small amount of races.
So the very first thing I've got to do is check that the grid is correct, because we did have a thing yesterday that the grid wasn't correct at all. So I'm just going to check that it's right, so we don't require a restart. So Grunty, Stygian, Jengus, Steffi, Benny Boy, Crazy Fish, Tornado, ACQ, Shane, Poea 10th, Farish Alonso 11th, Matey 12th, Lub Claire, Hornet Star, Christian, Quirky, Fruit Boy, Breezy, Eagle 7. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And it's overcast days.
Looking dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could it be rainy?
I mean, chat would tell us if it was. Surely, chat would help. Please help chat.
Well, maybe not. Sometimes they do tell us. Sometimes they don't.
Last icon,
we just have to
rain.
find out. So the end of the race. Okay.
Ooh. So that
could be spicy. That could be very, very spicy.
Stuck in the race thread. I can't get out of it.
Like eating real Mexican food. Very, very spicy.
Yeah. So we're going to be underway with this race very, very quickly again, because there's no formation now, which I really, really do hate. But
no, I think they fixed it. I saw in the update notes that I think they fixed it. We got 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go here for the Belgian Grand Prix. As we've got a lot of people switching positions already, and Stygian around the outside. Can he make the move done? Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. He gets way better traction out of Lasource, and he is going to take the lead of this Belgian Grand Prix. But Grunty is close. He wants it back. He is not satisfied. Maddie is spun off. Maddie spun off back to the front, side by side in Lacombe. And Grunty looking to get the move done. No, he can't get it. Stygian retains the lead.
Good job from Stygian.
Crazy Fish, in the meantime, has gained 3 spots already. He's up to P3, and he is looking to fight with these two.
Right there, sorry.
We got Poyea and Shane getting some fighting going on, too.
I just had to leave the lobby there because I was stuck in race director. I couldn't get out of it. Oh boy,
yeah. No worries, mate. Oh, we got a spinner. It's Christian and Flub Claire. Christian and Flub Claire both have spun off. Not a great start from Christian, Flub Claire, or Maddie, who's way back, about 30 seconds back on these guys. We got a side-by-side fight between Arash Alonso and Quirky Turtle. Quirky gets the move on Alonso. I see a touch of sunlight, and Shane's crashed out. What is happening, Shane? Oh, he's right on the right off the racing line. And I've collected into him, but that is the day over for him. And Arash Alonso's crashed out too, and it's a full course safety car. What has happened? Poyea spun off right before the bus stop. Oh, and he's on the track. Eagle avoids him, thankfully. But that is the race over for both Shane and so just a terrible way for that to end. And I'm seeing a little bit of what looked like a bit of porpoising on Stygian's tires. Not the car, just the tires. So 2 guys so far that have had an absolutely monster start to this race. Fruit Boy and Breezy both gaining 9 spots in less than a whole lap. They're P8 and P9. These 2 are absolutely ridiculous with how they started.
Yeah.
Flub Claire and Quirky, I believe, both just got a penalty, a 5-second penalty. No, actually, Flub Claire got 10 seconds. One for a collision, and I think the other maybe for ignoring yellow flags.
Let me have a look at it.
Quirky got a 5 for ignoring yellow flags. Look
Yeah.
at tires now. So, your top 6 all on mediums. Tornado on hards. A lot of other dudes on mediums. I'll let you.
Yeah. Flub Claire, 2 severe collisions on Christian.
Oof. Okay. Not good look already.
Cherry Ghost in the chat. Will you guys be doing crossplay leagues when it's all ironed out? Yes,
Probably.
yes, I believe so. If you're
And I believe
in
Poirier
the
just spun off again.
if you're in the RSF1 Discord already, then message Muddy Biscuit and he will tell you all the details. I believe he's already on work to get a lot of PC drivers and PS drivers and basically everybody in as much as possible. If you're not in the RSF1 Discord,
Macy Q and Cornet Star swapping spots. Macy Q gets the spot back, and that basically created a giant log jam from P11 to 16.
yeah. If you're not in the RSF1 Discord, hold out for the night bot. That will tell us in the chat in a few seconds or a few minutes. Until somebody
Rush Alonso has joined back into the session. I hopefully it's to help his teammate out, be like a race engineer. I don't usually like seeing drivers quit too early and not help out their teammate with strategy and stuff.
Yeah.
Benny Boy and Jangus swap spots because Jangus goes into the pits already. 1 lap on the mediums, and he's already like, no, I'm good. Let's switch on to the hards.
Odds
2
to the
laps,
end?
I should say now. Well, if there's rain at the end, you don't have to go to the end on those hards. You just have to get until the rain comes. Yeah, he's going on to the hards, like I predicted. So Jangus Logan coming out with a massive risk. Massive.
Muddy saying
Taking
it's
a
too
deep
early.
shot. The question is, will it connect?
Muddy Biscuit saying it's too early for hard tires. And Muddy Biscuit is one of the best, if not the best, tire saving person in the entire league. So if he says the tires are
I
not
would
going to
definitely
last,
say it's me. I'd say it's me. Honestly,
yeah.
with how I drive my tires, I don't know why, but the way I drive my tires just don't wear nearly as much.
Yeah.
Okay, Jankus, maybe not warm up your tires like that because you nearly ate a wall.
Yeah, I was going to say hard tires are going to be freezing cold.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be out. You could probably literally put those hard tires in your drink, and by the time you pull them out, that drink will be frozen. I mean, that is literally how cold these tires feel.
Yeah, cold hard tires are literally the worst. You turn and it just doesn't react at all. The Fruit Boy and
I don't mind
Breezy,
understeer, but
Fruit Boy and Breezy have made 10 spots each. Fruit Boy from
I
17th.
mentioned that earlier.
Breezy from
It was
18th.
9 each until Jangus pitted for the hards. So you got one Williams in the first and one in the back. This could be an interesting little situation here.
Yeah, one who is...
We've also got Eagle, who's gained 7 spots. Slither and me from dead last to 14th. 5 spots for Corky, 4 for Cornet Star.
Yeah,
Crazy Fish, literally after... Crazy Fish, after Lake Home, has gained 3 spots.
Right, restart time. And we haven't seen a Stygian restart, I don't think, yet.
I do not think we have. No, we've seen a good number of grunty restarts. We've seen Quirky,
Steffi. Steffi's probably the
Steffi
worst
for
one.
sure. Tornado. Tornado has probably had a handful himself as well.
Yes. How's Stygian going to handle this? Is he going to go through the bus stop as fast as he can and go, or is he going to wait till the bus stop? Wait till afterwards
And
and then go.
Poyea's spun off again, giving
Oh,
Jengus the position, but Jengus gives it back. So
must have been told by the game, but here we
we're
go.
back under green. He does catch Grunty out a little bit. He's pulled out a decent gap.
Well, he does all over the inside of Betty Boy, and he's going for the lunge. It's on hard tires, remember? Making the moves, and I think he's going to get it. Oh, Betty
and
Boy!
bent into somebody. And he's required to do an immediate 360 just to get back on track. And he's going to be driving really slowly. Jengus not having a very good restart here either. He's pretty far back himself. Back two do get through Eau Rouge Radion pretty well. Grunty, meanwhile, Stygian, excuse me. In the meantime, doing a good job getting through that. And we got Flub Claire spun out of the Lacombe chicane. I know the final corner the Lacombe is a different name, but I cannot remember the name of it.
Yeah.
It's like M-E something.
Macedon? No. That's
Possible?
another track. That's another track, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how many letters it is. Like 5-6 letters. No matter. We are back on the front runners. We got a yellow in sector 2. This one's for Christian. He spun around. Oh, and Benny Boy and Flub Claire having to take evasive action.
The McLarens are not having a good event at all. Sprint race hasn't really worked
Christian
out.
certainly isn't, but Cornet Star is definitely making a bit of a comeback drive for this race. Oh, no. Ooh. Almost loses the car. He does lose P9, though. Drops P9 to Quirky. Lost the rear end there.
Steffi's got a bit of a run.
Search it. Look it up. I can't really look it up while I'm commentating here, man. I'd like to, but I can't. Turn the safety car if there's another one.
Steffi frontline speed on Crazy Fish into third place. Crazy Fish cannot fight down at all.
Oh, and Maddie's out. Maddie has crashed out. Oh.
Halfway through, Radion and Eau Rouge.
Don't have a safety car yet. We don't have anything yet. Flub Claire doing some very questionable defensive maneuvers. Doing a decent bit of swerving. Back to the front, we get not even a virtual safety car. We are still green. Grunty and Stygian have pulled away from Steffi, the man who everyone thought would be absolutely dominating tonight.
So, even if you're quick in TT, gonna be consistent in the race. Oh, no.
Ooh, Grunty. Grunty saw his life flash before his eyes.
That's how hard he's pushing to try and keep up with Stygian. He very nearly dropped everything away.
Yeah, he's got a decent point. Breezy's out!
No! That's a big crash.
Oh, and Fruit Boy crashed into him as well! And it's a safety car!
The
Breezy
two
is not...
The two that had made demon starts are out.
Absolutely demon star. It started P17 and 18, and everyone's pitting. Everyone except Cornet Star and Quirky. Cornet Star stays out. He's on the mediums like everybody else. I think Quirky is on the hards though.
Eagle's on the hards as well.
So that explains him staying out. Eagle as well. Slither and me on the mediums. Jengus Logan looking like a genius now. He's up to P5.
Yeah, but remember his tires may not go to the end, even though they're going to be 3 laps worse off than...
And Fruit Boy retires in the pits.
You've just been in a crash, Fruit Boy, but safety car. You had a chance to get back in the race. Fine. Okay, that's a weird one. But that's a shame. Both through by Amber easy.
What position was Stygian? He was
He's in the lead, yes. But his
Grunty
teammate,
was P2, Steffi was P3.
his teammate is now the net leader. Because he pitted
Yeah.
very, well, lap 2, basically. Was it that
Yeah,
one?
he did 2 laps on those tires, and he went on to the hard, on his mediums and went on to the hards.
Hards should just about be fine from here, says Money Biscuit.
Yeah, with Genghis Logan getting most of his laps on his hards under the safety car, his tires probably will be fine.
Yeah, this will help him. This will help him a lot. Who it doesn't help is Tornado, because he's made.
I would say it doesn't help Cornette Star. I mean,
no.
Slither and me, these two are still on the mediums they started on.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious as to why they haven't. Original P1,
Tornado,
he's the
I
first
just realized Tornado pit onto the mediums.
That'll Jengus has already bid. The Jengus could go to the end.
Oh, he could. But with the 2 safety cars out now, and what, I think we had a virtual on lap 1? I mean, this is definite. The rain could come much sooner than the final few laps. The rain could come in the next...
I don't think it's going to rain. The clouds are gone, days.
Well, it did say it was going to... Someone in the chat said it was going to
Last
rain, so you never know.
Yeah.
I had a race that started dry, had a middle stint that was wet, and then it got dry again. And Cornette Star's in the pits. Quirky stays out. Eagle stays out. And Slytherin comes in as well. So, yeah, they knew the situation they were in. What do the Williams drivers do here, though, if they make it through these 2 in the front?
Well, there's every chance.
Does Jengus let Stygian through, or does Stygian let Jengus fight the top 2?
There's every chance that Jengus may not need to pit. So, and he's legitimately in the lead. Because he made that call. He made that call to make the early stop. So, it depends if they're in conversation days. Not every teammate is as close as, say, you know, some just drive themselves. Others just don't talk. I mean, if they're talking, it'll be up to them. But if they're not on talking terms, this is all Jengus. He doesn't have to let Stygian go through. Plus it's round 3 days.
No, he certainly doesn't.
It's round 3 days. Come on.
Yeah, no.
No team orders.
That is true. That is true. Personally, I like to have a teammate that talks a lot with me through the race. I gotta know what he's thinking. I gotta know his strategies at certain situations at all times.
How many seconds?
I don't think I could have a teammate that wasn't talking.
What about that? Quirky has an 8-second time penalty.
Oh boy,
Claire has 11.
Yeah, and everybody else is clean penalty-wise. Warning-wise, we don't know, but...
Did Quirky get that for... That's right. At the beginning, yeah, that was ignoring yellow flag for Quirky early on.
Ignoring yellow flag was the one. He might... I would hope for his sake he doesn't. He gets the 5-second removed.
No,
ignoring yellow flag in this game is very weird.
No, because he won't have it removed because he has to take it in his pit stop.
Oh,
and then
geez,
the stewards then can't. They then cannot, remove a further 5 seconds because you've already served it.
Yeah, I think if I were him, I would have served it the last time they came around, just so I can get it out of the way and I'm back with the pack. Instead, he's very well in he's in a very bad spot. Unless this is the last safety car, he's going to be in a really tough situation here.
Yeah, it's going to drop him even further back from when... Because let's face it, Quirky and Igor are not in a good spot here because they will have to pit, be a bunched up field, and they'll be right at the back with a big gap. They'll be on fresher tyres as, Cornette
Star.
and...
Cornette's also got wing damage, and Slytherin's got no front wing, period. As we go back to green flag conditions here at Spa.
And Cengiz
no
is
one
defending. Oh, Slytherin's done enough.
Slytherin me gets a 5-second drive or 5-second speeding penalty, and yeah, he says I'm over with it. Meanwhile, Quirky is absolutely flying on this restart. He caught out Eagle on the restart, and he is continuing to catch him out. Oh, it looks like Quirky's losing a lot of time down the straights. He might have a higher downforce setup. Tornado making a move, his first victim of maybe many.
Yeah.
Got a big fight for P9 between Macy Q and Poyea. Getting a front row seat right here. Oh, Poyea goes deep into the corner. Macy's looking on the inside on the exit. Doesn't look like he's going to get the move done on Poyea, though. Oh, speaking of, Christian looking to make a move on Benny. Clubclair just watching these four fight right in front of him. I think if you're Clubclair, you're going to want to just bide your time, wait for them to make a mistake.
Sorry. Tornado.
What happened?
Tornado just caught out by Steffi's braking. He had so much better grip.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought the pair of them were going to be spinning and just a bit of a drift. That's all. Well, Tornado's being very aggressive. He's going to have a run on Steffi. He's going to have to make this work.
Oh, he looked to the inside, but he backed out on the move. And a much better grip out of the corners, though. We got a lot of fighting between P10 and 13, or P12, all swapping spots. Clubclair around the outside of Christian. Doesn't look like he's getting the job done, but it doesn't matter because Christian just smashed into the side of the Alfa Romeo of Benny. Cornette Star into the pits, and he is retired from the session. He has had enough. An unfortunate end to the day for Cornette Star. A lot of drivers who I honestly thought were going to have very good races tonight, and all of them are out. Shane had a phenomenal start before his crash. Arash Alonso, Matty, Breezy. I mean, all these guys that are out all looked like they could have had much better days.
Yeah.
Cengiz looking to make a move on Eagle. He is turning up the heat.
Well, Dana's in another one in a difficult situation because Quirky and Eagle are as well. Because I'm very unsure whether those mediums can get to the end. So, trying his hardest to try and gain time, but...
And we got a yellow, it's Christian. It's the McLaren of Christian. McLaren just not having the night they wanted tonight at all. Oh, you got to feel for them.
Yep. They've not had a good start to the season overall. We've only got 4 points, courtesy of Christian's 8th place in Mexico.
And we got another yellow. It's for Benny Boy now. Out of Stavelot. Alfa Romeo not having the night they were looking for either. DRS is now enabled. I believe that's the first time we've seen that in this race.
Yeah, it would be. Old Cengiz has made an absolute meal of the sauce. Hairpin, and it was almost pushing him through. Problem Stygian has got. He's got his teammate ahead of him. Doesn't ideally want to overtake him and ruin his race, but at the same time, he's got Grunty all over the back of him. I think he's going to make a move
with the 3
here.
seconds, and Christian is retired in the pits. That is his race over. Stygian on the inside of his teammate, Cengiz. Cengiz lets him through. It's P3 for the Williams of Stygian.
Stygian had to make that move, and now he's got a buffer between him, Grunty, and Steffi.
Watching on board, riding along with Grunty, I saw Steffi lose the rear end a little bit.
Grunty has got to get by Cengiz now as soon as possible to not let Stygian get away from here.
On board with Quirky, he's getting a decent gap, but he's gonna have to hope that he can just continue to pull away.
Yeah, I think Quirky and Eagle are in a very bad spot because they have to pit, and well, Flub Claire, who's in 11th, is still 8 seconds off the lead. Steffi's out! He's not
Steffi's out?
He's not out, but he's in the
Oh
wall.
no!
Stab
He's not out of the race,
Uh,
but he could be out of the win. No virtual, no safety car, nothing. It's just yellows, and we're back to green flag in Sector 3. Meanwhile, Quirky now just continuing to pull out that gap. And unfortunately, I did mention that rear end, loss of the rear end for Steffi. I wasn't sure if that was just a one-time deal or if it was even worse. Steffi's going to pit. I can't assume Steffi's going to retire from the session. I mean, he's got a lot to fight for here.
Here comes Stedgen on Eagle, and he got Grunty on Jengus. Jengus is trying to squeeze Grunty as much as he can.
Oh, this could be big. This could be big.
Pretty
Oh, okay. No contact. We're keeping going. And Jengus holds on. Wait, maybe not. Oh, runs very wide on the exit of the chicane, and Grunty looks to get P4 from the Williams of Jengus. Grunty and Stidgen both gaining a spot. Grunty having an absolutely phenomenal move there as Flub Claire is spun. It's going to allow Benny Boy to catch back up. Get another chance at points for him. Salvage what has been a bit of a rough start to this race for the Alfa Romeo driver and the Alfa Romeo team.
I have to say though, Benny Boy's had a very decent debut from what I've seen. He's not put a foot wrong. He's had decent pace. He had a very good result in the sprint race as well. So, good stuff for Jengus. It's not giving up on Grunty. He realizes he's doing this for his teammate.
Benny Boy had P5 in the sprint race, so
yeah.
Benny Boy definitely not a slouch. He's definitely got the pace.
Oh, tornado flying up to the back of Jengus, and Jengus is all over the back into the bus stop. He's gonna get close.
Oh, yep. Great camera angle here. And Tornado gets the move. Maybe not done yet.
Nice.
No, he gets it done. Jengus backs out. That is P5 for the Alpine of Tornado. Alpine looking very nice. P3 and P5 right now for them.
Yeah, but they're still both in tough spots, remember?
Jengus's tires might be falling off a little bit. Not much. But he's dropped 3 spots over the last lap and a half. You can't help but wonder.
Grunty breezes by Eagle.
Side fight between Eagle and Grunty. Yep. Grunty is right through. It's P3 for the AlphaTauri. Championship leader. Having yet another really, really good race right now.
Yeah, but in all of that, he has lost just over a second to Stidgen, and they've been very, very close. That second might be difficult to catch back up again to get back in that DRS. We'll see how he does. And in terms of ERS, Stidgen has actually got more than Grunty at this stage.
Does. Not a lot, but a little bit. We got a yellow.
Tornado!
It's Tornado! Gets
He's
onto
done the same thing he did in the sprint race.
Yeah, the same spot, too.
Dave, it's only lap 12. We've still got 10 laps to go. We've only just gone halfway of this race.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. And Benny Boy's starting to catch up to Tornado. Benny Boy putting up another quiet but good race.
Oh my goodness. Seeing the
we got a yellow. It's Flub Claire.
Eagle's in.
Yeah, Eagle is in, but Quirky stays out.
And this is how far Eagle's going to drop back because, well, we might catch up for a couple of points. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to last.
He doesn't feel very good about the tires he's on anymore, and for that I can understand. Flub Claire has got an issue. He looks like he's stuck in 6th gear. Like he's shifting up to 7th, but it shifts right back down.
I think he's.
Oh, he spins right in front of Steffi. He did an absolute 360.
I think he's going to retire it.
Steffi, of course, takes fastest lap of the race.
Going to retire it. Either that or No? Okay, maybe not. But
Yeah, no, I think he's just going to stick around. It's fair play to him. Taking care of that 5-second penalty he got.
wow. Notice the. I know I should be focusing on F1, but just notice the football result. Fair enough. Vision is actually maintaining the gap to Grunty. In fact, he's extended it by a couple of tenths.
We got a yellow. Flub Claire's on cold mediums. He's trying a little too hard. Oh, he might get disqualified. No, okay. Don't want to go full throttle immediately.
Right.
Flub Claire might be a newer driver to this game. Oh my God, he's cut pretty much all of Rouge Radeon. What is going on? Stygian gets the lead as Quirky pits.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him. Don't put it on the stream. Biggie's messing about a bit.
Corky is on the medium tires. Let's see how he exits the pits. Hopefully nothing like Flub Claire.
Eagle's going to be ahead of him, I think. They want that extra.
Yeah, Eagle's going to catch him. Even if they're right on board. Genghis Logan's left the session. Uh-oh.
I got him.
I was about to say, you better get him quick. Steffi puts up again the fastest lap. This time it's a 47.0.
Yeah, he's on the soft tires. He's just trying something to get back into this race, but got a lot of promise, Steffi.
As long as Steffi finishes in the points, he'll get the extra point, which will be fair play to him. Yeah. Boyaya gets another 3 seconds, and we got a yellow again. It's once again for the AlphaTauri of Flub Claire. At this point, I'm starting to think his tires might be overheated. Nope, he's
again
got no front wing.
Don't give him time. Don't give him time. I think he's just
I don't know.
I think he's messing about a bit. That's all I'm saying. I've watched him for a bit, and it's.
Is he now? Okay, well that's.
Yeah, let's just say throughout the session he's driven a lot better than what he's done for the last half hour. Let's just say that. Oh,
fair enough.
He's out,
and he's crashed. Oh no, he crashed right there. Oh.
No, he crashed in the pit lane and it teleported him there.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! Genghis Logan's in the pits. Macy Q. Thankfully, the car is despawned, so we will be good to go now. I don't know how that was not a safety car. He was right on the racing line.
Probably because it teleported him there, and the game was like, well, because we teleported him there, he shouldn't be there, so he's fine. But Genghis in the end has pitted and comes out behind Quirky and Eagle. So Eagle and
the AI may have pitted him, you say?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
He's left the session again. He's having issues. This is not what you wanted to see from Genghis, who was doing so well up to that point.
Stygian at the moment.
Stygian in the meanwhile.
Stygian at the moment, just maintaining the gap. It's about keeps going from 1.3 to 1.5. Got double the ERS basically of Grunty at the moment. I think Grunty's trying so hard to do it, but he's just maintaining the pace, just managing it. Awaya in a podium spot. Oh no! Podium spun.
Oh!
No, he was in the podium.
Hold on, he's gonna have to wait for Macy Q. Oh my God, he almost.
I think he was.
He almost ended his race and his.
It's Crazy Fish onto the podium now. Third.
Meanwhile, Benny Boy is catching up to yet another driver. Having quite the comeback drive.
Can only invite him one more time. So apparently it's free. Only 3 times you can invite someone.
Top 2.
Grundy's caught a bit.
Grunty's going to miss out on ERS or DRS just by milliseconds.
Right, so I can't invite Jengus anymore. Once he leaves, I can't invite him anymore. Well, they can join, I think. So I can't assist.
Steffi yet again on 5-lap-old softs. He still puts up the fastest lap. And Stygian's lost it!
No!
He's back on track. He's going to lose out on P2. Grunty now gets the lead. This is an absolutely dream. This is an absolute dream, and Poirier has crashed out.
Hello,
It is a safety car.
Well, this will change
It
everything.
is a safety car. So Stygian lost it, and as soon as he loses it, Poirier loses it. Roughly the same place, and it's a safety car.
Right, so this will be interesting because
Soon as, wow, I think that's the third race in a row where Grunty has gotten a massive lead. This time, obviously, a little bit different than the other times, and a safety car has come out.
this is
Wow, you gotta feel for Grunty in that, man.
yeah. I mean, a stroke of luck for Stygian because as soon as he spins, as you say, safety car comes out. It's going to bunch everybody back up. Now, the problem is, yeah, they're all going to dive in the box for fresh tyres, but are they going to have a set of softs left? Because they used 3 in
They
qualifying.
should have a set.
No, they used 3 in qualifying, sprint race. Oh no, yeah, some of them will have a set. 1 set left. Yeah, soft tyre sprint to the end.
Does anyone stay out? Quirky stays out. He's on pretty new medium tires.
That's not a bad
Eagle
call, you know.
pits despite his tires. Jengus, who just came back, is going to gain all these positions. Oh, no, he's not, because he had to stop for the Delta. That's not good news. Steffi, I assume, is going to have another set of tires, too. So Grunty is going to retain the lead.
And
Followed by Quirky, Crazy Fish, Stygian, Macy Q. Jengus gets up to P6, P7 for Benny Boy, Eagle, Tornado, and Steffi, who finally gets to catch back up to the lead pack.
we've lost half of the grid days in this race.
Yeah. I can't imagine how tomorrow is going to be.
This track can bite you, and it can bite you when it least expect. We've seen Stygian, who was I would say comfortably holding Grunty. Gap was flowing,
Yeah,
but he was
certainly
comfortably. And now he's lost it. He's been given an opportunity to attack back again. But for Grunty, he's got Quirky. Stayed out in the medium tyres. There's a good, decent call. Why not? Because he's barely used those mediums. He can, still be pace-wise on them. But the softs
Tires will definitely be better at the end.
yeah, the softs are going to be quicker from the restart. So,
Oh yeah,
If-
the first 3 laps, those softs are going to have a massive advantage.
if Crazy Fish or Stygian want to win this race and stop Grunty from winning 4 races on the bounce on the beginning, they have to get by Quirky as soon as possible, literally on the first lap probably, under this restart. They cannot let Grunty get away. We've seen
Steffi currently with the fastest lap of the race. He could still keep that, but
I mean,
with everybody,
safety car
just
will
about
drop.
everybody
I mean,
pitting onto the softs, chances of him keeping that fastest lap are not great.
the times are going to fly down. Absolutely fly down.
Yeah, I'm expecting fastest lap at this point to be the low 46s, maybe upper 45s.
Yep. Quirky's made 14 spots.
Oh, you're...
From his start, and Eagles made 11.
Oh, wow, yeah, Quirky. Absolutely phenomenal race from him so far. Started P16, and since then has just done nothing but gain positions on people.
Muddy Biscuit's thrown a little bit of a spanner here, which could bring Quirky back into it. The softs aren't amazing here. They have around 10% wear per lap, so there'll be 50% wear at the end. That's for all of those that have pitted, even if they are fresh. And
Yeah, I mean,
let's not forget the rain. Look at the clouds above you. They're building.
Certainly are. Are they going to come in time for that to matter, though?
Rain in about 10 to 15 minutes, says someone in the chat.
10 to 15 minutes. I
Might
don't
just
think it's going to
avoid
matter.
it. Might just avoid it.
Yeah. Even if a virtual safety car comes out after this, I don't think it's going to matter.
Unless we get a safety car immediately, and then there'll be like one lap of rain on the dry tires.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and I don't think it would matter too much at that point. Most of the drivers left in this race have lost spots. Stidgen's lost 2, -3 for Jengis, -2 for Benny, -2 for Tornado, and -6 for Steffi.
There's only 2 people at the entire grid that have stayed where they are. Cornet, who's retired, and Grunty, who has, well, started on pole when it's where he started at the moment. Why are we...
The only person who hasn't taken at least 2 stops is Quirky, another little interesting factoid.
Vettel in the chat, why are we so obsessed with rain? Because rain means cars are sliding about all over the place. That's
And
why.
being that this is Spa, rain is the most dangerous at this track.
Yeah.
Rain doesn't come in little bits and drops. Rain here is downpour. Don't believe me? Look at last year's Belgian Grand Prix. I say no more.
Yeah. I would have said maybe the only other track you don't want rain is Singapore. Just because of how long it is.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If you go a lap long on slicks in wet conditions, you're done for. Here, same deal. When you got El Rouge Radion, you've got No Name, Pouan, Stavelot,
Yeah.
Blanchemont. Trust me, not easy to turn with slicks. As we await the restart, Grunty going a little late, and he goes. Doesn't catch anyone out, though. Doesn't need to, though, because the guy behind him is on mediums. Into La Source now. And we got Eagle passing, or trying to pass Benny Boy. Eagle gets a 3-second time penalty. Tornado also gets past Benny Boy. Benny Boy's down to P9. Oh, no, Eagle, I think, got an illegal overtake, so he had to let him back through. Back to the front. Grunty trying to break the slipstream. He's going to keep P1 for now. Terrible angle. There we go.
I said about all those on softs. They have to overtake Quirky as soon as possible. Especially the
Tornado with
moment.
another 3 seconds. This is going to hurt him quite a bit here. And the track is getting a bit darker. You can see it. Shadows aren't nearly as pronounced. You look up, this clouds are almost completely covered the sky.
Yeah. Dark clouds as well. And the thing is, if it rains at lap 20, lap 21, they're not going to pit. You lose too much time pitting. You go on to the intermediates, so it would be whoever can handle it. Stidgen nearly drops it. Coming through
Crazy
Stavelot.
Fish and Stidgen have got to find a way around Quirky if they want to have a chance to win this race. We got a yellow. It's for Eagle. Eagle's lost it out of Stavelo.
I'd almost say that Stavelot is a lot more dangerous than Rouge Radion, to be honest. So many people losing it through that.
It certainly depends on your setup. For the most part, yeah, I would agree. Grunty gets fastest lap. Tornado is in the pits. He might have damage. No, he's retired. Why did he
you could
retire?
have got points, Tornado.
He would have gotten a point if he'd have done another lap.
Man.
If he'd have done one more lap and retired, he would have gotten the point.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would retire with 3 to go in this race. I am absolutely shocked.
I don't know about
Horizon
that.
says snow in 5 laps.
Stidgen ran the outside of Crazy Fish, but then the Camel Straight, off the track.
Oh, he doesn't get a penalty, though. These two are not the two who need to be fighting because they are going to give Corky a pretty easy shot at keeping P2 if they do.
Grunty an easy
Crazy
shot of
Fish
winning.
gets the move back done on Stygian.
Oh. Maybe it was too late for him. Well, you got another 5 minutes. 5 minutes with 5 minutes. Well, okay, maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's something else going on. But if that's the time voluntary, that's a bit. Anyway.
He had a new set of softs to work with too. Hit again for softs and gun for fastest lap to get an extra point for Alpine.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 points is better than 2 points.
Very true. Grunty's in the same situation he was in Mexico. He had Quirky behind him with the time penalty, and yes, he's got 2 more dangerous cars behind. But
Quirky caught up a decent bit in the bus stop chicane.
yeah, because of Quirky's penalty,
DRS is enabled.
Have 2 laps of it.
I don't think Crazy Fish is going to get DRS though. He's not close enough. Or maybe he is. To the line, no he is not. He is not close enough. Macy Q doesn't get DRS off of Stygian.
Quirky's going to DRS on Grunty. He's going to make the overtake on him. Not what Grunty needs, but Quirky needs the gap.
About 10 miles an hour faster. But Quirky, remember, Quirky has got 6 seconds in time penalties. So as long as he stays anywhere near him, I don't think Quirky's going to be upset about giving up P1 on track.
Quirky at the moment, with his time penalty, he would drop 7th. But now that he's in the lead, he can try and pull away a little bit more. He's aiming for about 6th or 7th with Quirky, so overtaking Grunty is good. So what Grunty wants, Quirky won't care.
No, I think if I'm Grunty, I'd probably just chill out, keep the gap to try not to drop too much time and go from there. You don't want to lose DRS here down the Kemmel Straight for the final lap. That, I would say, is probably the main thing he needs to look after.
This is an exact carbon copy of the sprint race. Grunty in lead, Stygian closing, and he get close enough. The issue Stygian has is he's barely got any ERS left. I don't think he's got enough. Grunty's got 35%.
Crazy Fish has more ERS than him, so does Grunty. Final lap in this race.
Grunty's also within DRS of Quirky, just giving him that extra buffer.
Certainly.
Even better for Stygian, or even worse for Stygian. Here comes Crazy Fish. Crazy Fish was that podium back for the 2nd place.
Oh, he's in the grass! Passing the grass by the Red Bull of Crazy Fish. Steffi making a move on Benny Boy for P7 and P8. Boys in the wall. Contact. That could be looked at. Back to the front.
Stygian and Crazy Fish still going at it.
Oh, Stygian bumping into the back of the Red Bull of Crazy Fish. Eagle passing Benny Boy for P8. As of right now, Quirky's penalty will drop him to P6.
Look at Jengus in 5th. Look at Jengus in 5th. He's flying. He's absolutely flying on his mediums.
Man.
His cap's called the podium.
Yeah. Oh, man. Could he make a move on one of these two?
Remember, he pitted like very late on. Gonna be too late, I reckon.
Yeah. Maybe another lap he could have gotten him. Back to your leader of Quirky Turtle. Out of the bus stop chicane. He will cross the line P1 after penalties, though. It looks like he'll... Oh, a lot of contact between the two Williams and the Red Bull. Crazy Fish gets a 20-second time penalty. So it's a double podium for Williams out of nowhere. Grunty wins. He is 4 for 4 on this season. P2 goes to Stygian. P3 for Genghis Logan. Corky gets P4. P5 for Macy Q. P5 for Macy Q.
Right.
P6 for Steffi. P7 Eagle. P8 Crazy Fish. P9 Benny Boy.
That last
Wow.
bit, that last bit between Stygian and Crazy Fish, that might rumble on for quite a bit. The stewards to handle.
Crazy Fish is probably not going to be pleased with that. I cannot imagine.
Technically, I think the game is right, but it's a harsh one. A 20-second
Certainly
time
a
penalty.
harsh one. In my opinion, 20 seconds. I would, if it said 10, I wouldn't have really argued, but 20, it's like, oh, okay, wow.
And the only thing I would say is whether Crazy Fish was in front of Stygian before he went off track. We have to bring VAR into it, because I don't know. Either way, wow. Grunty,
So Grunty wins and a double podium for Williams.
both from
Especially
four.
after the performance that those two put up in the sprint race.
He got fastest lap as well. Big Grunty.
Yeah,
so,
wow. 34 points for Grunty. And the Williams boys bringing in a total of 46 points. Can't imagine they're going to be disappointed with that.
So gonna invite the top
wow.
three of the
Our
weekend.
top three finished 1, 2, 3 in both the sprint and in the race.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got to feel for Stygian, because that's 3 second places in a row. And remember, he had that race, the main race, that comfortable gap he had until he spun it. So,
Yeah,
the grunt-
I can't imagine he's feeling any very good about that.
that was good though. Right.
Yes, it was. So our podium was Stygian, Grunty, and Genghis Logan.
Let's have a look. I think it's Logan's the other one.
Bonjour.
Trying to see if we can get your teammate in here.
I'll send him a message. He's watching Man United.
Oh, then no.
Get him here. Is it more
Why would
important?
they want to watch that? I mean, they are winning, to be fair, so fair play.
What? Are
Bye.
they winning? What is this?
Yeah.
So, don't care. So,
I guess we move on without him.
week 3. The title, I don't understand, but week 3.
I'm guessing he's just not going to join. All right.
Nope.
They don't have to if
All
they
right,
don't
well-
want to.
Well, take it away, Michaels.
Yes, I got Stygian and then you got Grunty then.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Stygian, so close but yet so far in both races. You had possibly the race one that I do think that race win is coming for you. Because everything was just right today, it felt, for it. So we go over the sprint race first. Obviously, a battle with Grunty pretty much the entirety of the race, and the both of you found yourself in a position fighting for the lead. And you came into the bus stop and were so close to taking it, but couldn't. But then he got to the main race, had the lead, and found yourself in a position where I feel like you were holding Grunty at bay about a second or so, and then had a very unfortunate spin. I mean, obviously it's a weekend as a whole. I mean, 2 second places in a row, that's correct, 25 points. That's basically what you get for a race victory plus a fastest lap on a normal weekend. So, not too bad in the end.
No, not too bad. Considering how I felt going into this race, I'm very, very happy. But considering where I was in the race, I'm a little bit disappointed. Going into the race, I had absolutely no confidence in the setup. But I got a setup from Tornado as a base setup. I changed it a little bit, and it did wonders. Yeah, little Grunty had a massive dive up the inside in the bus stop.
I'm so sorry.
No, you see, I absolutely didn't see it coming, but it was clean. He didn't force me off the track, but I just didn't see it coming, and I wasn't able to respond. So I guess that's on me. Then in the race, yeah, I was controlling it, and then all of a sudden I saw Grunty. The gap was 1.5 seconds, and it came down to just 1. So I panicked a little bit, and I wanted to plant the power just a little bit earlier, and I spun. I was lucky to keep it out of the wall, and then the safety car really saved me. Could cool down my tires from the spin, and then go again. So yeah, I'm happy, but it sucks a bit. I could have won both races.
Yeah. Not only yourself, but your whole team, yourself and Jengus, have had a really solid start. Have been in the points, and very good points, in our first 4 races. The lowest result being a 9th place in USA for Jengus, which I think was a bit unfortunate as well in that. So you've had a very good start. Good to have a nice teammate as well. Do you get on with Jengus? Do you?
Yeah, we talk, we discuss setups, and we do not do parties. So when we race, no team orders whatsoever. But before the race, after the race, we get along well, and I'm happy we are both scoring solid points. And I believe we should be leading the constructors' standings now.
After today, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Grunty making noises because he doesn't have a teammate that scores points as well. Sorry, Cornish, but course he did turn up today anyway. Right, next track, Bahrain. A lovely, good track to race at, Stygian.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the place where you're going to take the top spot?
I mean,
take it off of Grunty. Someone needs to.
It's definitely the track I've done the most laps on, and I feel the most confident on, compared to other tracks. But we'll see. I mean, Grunty is very consistent. 3 wins in a row. 4 wins if you count the sprint. So.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I told you F1 is calling. F1 is calling.
I'm what matters, mate.
No. Well, you are the most consistent, but yeah, Bahrain. I think it's gonna be a good one once again. We'll see where I finish.
Alright, well done on your results so far. I think a very solid campaign, a 4th and 3 seconds in a row. That will come. I believe in you.
Thanks.
I mean, you have everything right apart from getting that top spot, so...
Yeah.
Well done, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
All right, we are on to our race winner today, and last week, and the week before. The man in the AlphaTauri, Grunty. You
Hello.
have gone 4 for 4 to start the season. You got nearly, I'm pretty sure you got the max amount of points you could get this weekend with 34. Despite your teammate not being here, how are you feeling today?
I mean, I came into this race with about 2 hours practice, and it was solid practice, like non-stop, like hardcore practice, which I don't think I've ever done in like 5 seasons. But no, it was.
I'm doing that over here every race.
I definitely wasn't the fastest today, as you can see. I say it was luck. I was lucky today because in the sprint race, I was sat in third. I was stuck in third. Tornado spun. Then after the safety car restart, Steffi spun, which granted me obviously the win. I wasn't keeping up with them guys. I was burning the ERS. So I was on like I think 30% ERS when I was behind them just to try and keep in that DRS. You know, Stygian was faster than me today. In that obviously the race itself, he was keeping that gap. Again, I was pushing hardcore. I had like 20% ERS, if that, just trying to push. And then obviously, really unfortunately, he spun. And again, Quirky was faster than me today. So that's like 4 or 5 people who are actually quicker than me today, who were actually like possibly could have won or could have contended like big battles for the win. But then they all just spun out or were inconsistent. So it's just obviously good to be nice and consistent. And I always get a setup that there's no loose rear ends, there's no spinning. You know, I'm good at catching the car. Things like that is always what you need to do, and that's what happened today, and it all pulled off. And obviously got the 2 wins, which was great, really cool.
Sure. How were you feeling when that last safety car came out and you got that lead? Seeing Stygian spun out and you had about a 7-second lead, and again it gets shot down by a safety car.
Yeah, a bit, well, not really. Yeah, a bit annoyed, as you tend to be in general. But I think, to be honest, I didn't know what to do. I was sort of imagining in my head what I would have to do if a safety car come out, and like my first thought in my head was like softs. But I obviously haven't done any running on softs in race pace, so I'd been really like, I had no idea what to do. So then obviously I decided to pick the softs, hope for the best, and then obviously they were quick, but obviously not too quick because Quirky was quicker than me, like quite a bit. So I don't know. I just had fun today, and
Okay. Next week we head out to the Middle East of Bahrain. How do you feel at that track?
I've never done well in Bahrain. Every race I've done, I've always been poor at it, and just not. Wow, I don't think I've finished the points in Bahrain ever. I think I always get taken out. Yeah, I always get taken out.
Stygian definitely feeling nice about that one.
I always either get taken out, or I'm just slow, or I don't know. It's a difficult one, but I think it should be overall a good race in general, obviously with everyone being so quick and it being a short track, so obviously it's close at the moment anyway. It's going to be even closer then, so you know, watch out for a lot of people coming up who you may not see there generally, I reckon, because it obviously is a pad track as well, which obviously is a bit annoying, yeah. But it's always been known as a pad track, so a lot of pad users may come up. You know, I don't know who's pad users in the division, but you know, they should look to do good. Cornish is normally quite good in Bahrain, which hopefully he can actually do something for a change. That'd be nice. You know, before today, obviously I was leading the constructors and the normal on my own, and then yeah, it's not a one-man job unfortunately, but thankfully for Stygian, he's got that duo behind him to proper push. And I don't know what happened in the end as well, because I think Fish was actually in the podium positions, but
he got a 20-second penalty from the game for going off track and gaining a spot on Stygian.
No, he did.
It was, yeah, on the bus stop chicane at the exit. He was off track and I guess he passed you. I thought you guys were still side by side there.
Oh, he
got a
me,
20-second penalty for it. So I was like, wow, okay. Me and Michaels are actually talking about how harsh it was.
Well, 20 seconds might be a bit harsh, but well, he did overtake me off the track, so I guess
they
reduce it to a 5-second.
While we're on the topic of Fish, I just want to say a big fat thank you to Fish, because I actually took his setup and ran away with it, and it did the absolute wonders.
Fish, why would you do that?
Fish actually is my hero. He's my hero today. Made Fish a good friend, so it's fine.
Oh.
But yeah, I told him I'd give him a big shout out, so massive shout out to him. Shame he obviously couldn't be here. Whatever reason, but hopefully we'll get sorted in the stewards, whatever happens.
Okay, well, that'll do it from us. Thank you for watching the stream tonight. Special thanks to my co-commentator, Michaels.
That was.
It's been an absolute pleasure commentating with you so far this season. I do hope for many more this season. Thank you all, and good night.